Hello. Hello.
Yeah, we
Hello?
lost you back there.
Yes, sorry for it is the usual occurrence in every part of Nigeria. Power went off. So sorry for that. I had to switch to alternative source of power. So sorry for the break. So now Efosa is the current technical manager for BSDOF, and Efosa is also a member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Ikeja branch. Efosa is also a member. So before
we could start.
Okay.
Yes, there are some ground rules which we need to respect, and it has to do with muting of the mics. So before we go ahead with the whole session, I think let me leave the floor to Fosa just to give us a brief introduction about himself. Then we go for a 2 minutes jingle, and we begin.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear from here.
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, I'm also sharing my screen. Good evening. I'm also sharing my screen. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, just a moment. Coming. I'm also trying to display. Okay. So for quick introduction, my name is Igbinoba Efosa. I am, of course, from my name, I am from Edo State in Nigeria here. I'm trying to pick the presentation myself. It's interesting. Can't see it myself. Okay, just a brief introduction. First, we'll just look at my one pager. I would like to do a quick run through of my career to date. So I started my career just after school in Cadbury several years ago. Basically, I've worked around the FMCG business, foods, household, and basically. So I started out with Cadbury several years ago as a technician, and then gradually moved off that into automation with Nestle, and from Nestle moved to Reckitt, where we make aerosols, we make Jik and all the other household products. And from Reckitt, I moved, in Reckitt, basically I was managing projects. And from Reckitt, I moved to Kimberly-Clark, which is your Huggies diaper. It's a diaper manufacturing facility. And from Kimberly-Clark to Beiersdorf. So just like Bamidele has said, Beiersdorf is a cosmetic company. Its biggest brand is the Nivea brand. We make lotion and roll-ons. So I currently manage both production and engineering with Beiersdorf. For my studies and professional background, I finished from University of Lagos with Bamidele. I studied electrical electronics. I'm also very happy and proud to say I'm a financial member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Ikeja branch, as well as I am a certified machinery safety expert. I'm married. I have 3 kids, and of course, I love swimming and traveling. I think this about wraps up my introduction. Over to you, Bamidele.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, just in 1 minute, I'll just have just a 2 minute break. So just hang on. Hello, everyone. My name is Bamidele Idris. I founded Get Jobs in 2017, a fast-growing job platform in Nigeria with the desire to bring job opportunities and career development to every unemployed youth. In Nigeria, where unemployment is currently pegged at 23.1% and may hit 33.5% in 2021. This is according to Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA. I set up this group to bridge the gap between employers and employees. We started this group in 2017 with just 10 members, and we have risen to over 25,000 members in August 2020. We have over 300 documented job successes. Get Jobs has partnered with over 20 organizations and several top professionals. According to Mark Zuckerberg, the challenge for our generation is creating a world where everyone has a sense of purpose. To keep our society moving forward, we have a generational challenge to not only create new jobs, but create a sense of purpose. Thank you. Yes, welcome back. So, Fosa, you have the floor. This is 622.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I am also sharing my video. I hope everyone can see me. Good evening once again. And I welcome you all to this session. I would also want to thank Bamidele for organizing this session. I think you are doing a very good job.
Thank you.
So very quickly, I would not want to bore us with too much details. And we all know we are fast into this session. So I would just like to talk very quickly around the theme. And then I look very eagerly forward to the question and answer session. From my experience, it's during the question and answer session that a lot starts to unfold. So part of the strategy, my strategy today would be to save as much of the time as possible for the Q&A. All right, that's it. So we look at the theme. The theme is the reality for the Nigerian graduates. If you if you just saw the advert that Bamidele ran, he mentioned the kind of environment we are in. But before I go on, I would just very quickly like to start with a quote. I will start with a quote from Albert Einstein. So Einstein says, "Strive not to be a man of success, but a man of value." Now, why is this quote? I'll repeat it again. Strive not to be a man of success, but a man of value. Why is this how is it relevant to the theme of today? And why is it very important that we differentiate between success and between value? Still following up with what Bamidele shared right now, unemployment rate has grown tremendously. If we look at the Nigerian environment, we were at 12.1% in 2016, sometime in 2018 at 23%, and surprisingly, in 2020 quarter three, we're at 27.1%. If you combine this with the dilapidating infrastructure, with a lot of other gloomy situation in the country, then one realizes that it becomes very challenging and very difficult to survive. So this is why the question of value is really very important, because of the very challenging and difficult situation we find ourselves in the country, consumers, which we need to understand in different perspective. So for the factory, the consumer is the guy that picks the product and would want to use the product. But for the guy that is looking for work, your consumer, so to say, will be the job itself. Just like you are also some kind of product for the company is looking out for you, you are also looking out for the company. So the question of value now comes, just like during the times we are in, when it's really very difficult to earn, then every naira must count. People want full value for their money. The same way companies want full value, right, for people that get recruited. And so a very urgent question today is, how do I become valuable? How do I create value? How do I put content out there that is not only useful to the people, but also very useful to companies that want to hire? Okay, there are a lot of traditional ideas out there. People talk of no jobs. People talk of young graduates having to have several years of experience before being recruited. And the paradox is, how do you, coming straight from school, how do you get all that experience on the one hand, and then at the same time you still stay like a fresh young graduate? One has to give. You're either very old with experience or you are young without it. And so it becomes a tricky one for us. But that's the beauty of why we are here. I think I have had the opportunity to be on both sides of the table. I've had the opportunity to be on the side of the recruiter, and I've also had the opportunity to be on the side of the person that's looking for employment.
On mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes. It just went off for a while. No,
okay,
it's just for a few seconds. Yes.
Okay, because I've been talking all the while.
No.
Okay, so like I said, I'll be focusing a little bit on employment because I know this is the big one on many of our minds. And then I would also be looking at some of the entrepreneurial opportunities that we have out there. So from an employment standpoint, like I said, I've had the opportunity to be on both sides of the table. I've had the opportunity to employ people, and I've also been in situations where I was looking for employment. So the reality is, one good thing that young graduates have that I want to put emphasis on is they have age on their side. Age is really, really super important. I've had sessions where management is basically looking out for people that are young and people that are ready to try their hands on something new. It comes with an advantage to the employer. You come with a lot of energy as a young graduate on one hand, and on the other hand, you will be relatively not as expensive as somebody that is very experienced. So still looking at employment, the question now is, how then do you make the best use of the opportunity? How then, what exactly do you need to do, to position yourself aright, to make use of the opportunity, or to get employed in the very, obviously very stiff competitive environment we find ourselves? One very useful advice I would also like to put out is the fact that experience does not just come to you. Experience comes by trying and doing. And one key thing I'd like to call out here is the fact that most graduates shun or shy away from voluntary work. Now, voluntary work is really very important in other climes. I mean, in Europe, in North America, and even in the US, you find young graduates approach standard multinationals and ask for opportunity to work for free. Now, the reason is obvious. Like I said, as a young person, the value you bring to the table should not just be the certificate you are offering, but then you need to have some kind of skill set. So abroad, many people have come to realize that taking that time to work with a multinational, even though you don't get remunerated, would provide you the opportunity to actually come up and develop, some basic skill sets that at the end of the day would be something that you would offer as value to other potential employers. So this is something I don't see happening. I actually did something similar when I started off from school. So this is why it's something I'm really passionate about. I speak to people about it. When I started out as I finished school and I started out as an operator, right? And the reason was that, of course, the jobs were not coming. When you graduate from school, the first thing you think about is you would get into a management training program. So it doesn't happen that way for everyone. A few people are lucky, but the truth is you need to throw yourself at any opportunity that comes. So it started out like that. It was very rough, very challenging. But like I said before, it also offered the opportunity to
Hello, Efosa, are you there? Efosa, can you hear me? Okay, maybe the same thing that happened to my side also happened to Efosa. So while we're trying to make Efosa come back, let me just share just 2 minutes jingle while we are waiting for Efosa.
Okay. Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Yes,
you.
just hold on.
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
Okay, just let's hold on for Bamidele. I think he's doing something. Bamidele?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
yes, when you went, I had to. You can hear me now, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Can I go on?
Yes, you can go on.
Okay. So, like I was saying, it gave me the opportunity to build the skills, and that's the point I want to gradually come to. There's a need for everyone that intends to succeed, and that's why I started with Albert Einstein's quote. There's a huge need to develop yourself. Now, the path to development varies for the different people. It varies for different people. But what is similar is we all work with one continuous improvement tool, okay? And what type of continuous improvement tool you choose to work with will depend on you. But one that I have found that is actually really very useful is the Deming cycle. Basically, I use this not only at work, but I use this as a tool to develop myself. Now, this cycle basically runs you through a plan, do, check, and act, plan, do, act, and check cycle, PDCA, where you plan, you do, you check, you act. It looks simple, but the truth is, if applied to the situation you are in, either you are looking for a job or you are looking at the business, you would realize that it can actually add a lot of value. It only adds value when you realize that you need to see things from the eye of the customer. So for instance, if you're applying for a job, you need to see things from the eye of the employer. You need to try to understand, go into his thoughts, understand why he's looking for the role, understand how the role will benefit the employer. And through that, you will now try to improve or learn or take action to improve yourself so that you are better positioned to take charge. I also mentioned that I'll be looking at entrepreneurial ventures, people that come out of school and don't want jobs and just want to dive straight into business. Same principle for people that look for a job, also operate for people that want to run their own small business, no matter what it is. For business, it's a little bit more delicate because then it depends on who your customer will be. If your customer will be as a young engineer, if your customer will be a factory or some kind of manufacturing setup where you provide services, then it becomes really very interesting. So you see, like in my position, I have opportunity to meet with young entrepreneurs that come to the office with profile papers, business papers, registration papers, and some of them really have very fantastic proposals. They tell you about what they have thought about, what they think will be of benefit. And then the truth about it, most times I try to make such sessions counseling session because I give very honest feedback about such proposals. So the truth about it is most of those profiles end up either on the table or they end up in the trash. And the question is why? Why would someone that has sat down for so long, trying to piece things together, trying to put idea to paper, even do some bit of feasibility, why would such brilliant ideas, get thrown out, so to say? The truth is most times, and this is also the same for the job seeker, most times when we approach customers, and customers this time might mean a business, it might mean the direct consumers, it might mean a potential employer, we only base what we are offering, we base it only on what we think, and we ignore what the guy or what the person is thinking. To give an example, I have had situations where in my work, I have needed services when I actually would have to go on the internet. There was a time I had actually contacted Bamidele to say, do you know someone that can do ABC for me, and then get addresses, get phone numbers, follow up with the person, get the person to bring the registration papers, register the person as a vendor, and then literally, to start throwing orders at that person. Now it looks funny because you have the other man that would come and make beautiful presentation and then get his profile, thrown to the bin. And then you have the other guy that is far away, not even marketing what he has to offer, but people literally looking and seeking him out. Okay, this is really very important. And for me, this is actually the high point of my discussion. The last 2 jobs I have had have actually been jobs where I had no need to fill in any application. I was headhunted from LinkedIn, basically, and discussions just took flight from there, and it landed the job. And they are very good jobs and quite good paying. And the reason is the same job other people might have applied, but then it becomes a thing of who is able to deliver, who is able to show that he or she has value to add. So the message this evening from me is for everyone to sit back and decide what your value proposition will be. What are you selling? What are you saying you can do? And how are you saying it on the one hand? And then on the other hand is how are you going about developing yourself to be able to provide a unique value, to be able to provide a unique offer, so that what are you doing in the way of developing yourself to do this? I gave one short example about how you can volunteer. Volunteering is everything noble about it. Not everybody gets the opportunity. When we were in school and we had to do internship with companies, many people found themselves behind the photocopying machine and would do that for 6 months and scribble some report and throw that out. So today it's a big one because in school, even the value of internship is really not there because the opportunities are so low. So graduates need to provide these opportunities for yourself by seeking out these opportunities. I remember my sister in Canada once told me that they have to fill out and write exams, to show that they have what it takes to be a volunteer. So imagine you going for an exam and you're writing a job test, and at the end of it, you will not be paid. That society is that developed because they realize that everything is driven by value. So that's the big giveaway from me today, to say we all need to go back and check what value we can add and how we can add this value. There are lots of opportunities to learn. LinkedIn offers, for instance, a lot of trainings that we can pick for free. Some are paid, some are free. So there are lots of things we can do to develop ourselves. You don't just sleep and wake up and then you are there. Like I said before, there's no one-stop way to success. Rather, you need to cultivate value, and that value will bring success in its trade. I think this is the message I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fosa. There was something you said earlier which actually struck my attention, and it has to do with the first thing you did was you actually applied for an operator. Now, I'm trying to juxtapose it with what is currently happening. For instance,
applied for,
as in when you started your career, you started as an operator, a technical operator, right?
Yes.
Yes. So now,
yes.
I'm making a reference, for instance, to some of our graduates that we have. Now, I'm trying to come back home, which is the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Ikeja branch. We've been having survey, and currently we threw out a Google form that all members of the branch should join, and we found out that we've had 42 responses. Now, out of these 42 responses, 42% of the total respondents are unemployed. 42% of the total respondents are unemployed, and that is massive, especially, yes, especially for Nigerian Society of Engineers, Ikeja branch. Now, being also a member of the branch, now, what message do you have for these members that are unemployed? I've seen a lot of CVs, and I see that we have a lot of instrumentation experts, we have a lot of, so what do you think these members should do in order to secure employment? And another thing I'm going to throw up to you is this. Now, how can BSDOF, like you mentioned, internship. Now, how can BSDOF be able to absorb some of these members just to have an idea of, it doesn't have to necessarily be paid employment, but just internship, just like you said. So what do you think?
Okay, very good question. For me, it's a twofold approach. First, I think there should be a forum where employers like Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, together with Nigerian Society of Engineers, together with a couple of institutions like that, need to come together and bring manufacturers to the table. Why? Manufacturers need to be told that the very obvious truth, the truth about doing something for the young people, more like giving back. Why am I saying this? Every company has very strict control, budget control on headcount. So, for instance, in my company, we have, in our company, we have, for instance, a number of headcounts we can take as interns. And this would either be your regular IT students or would be your youth corpers. So if you look at the number of people, for instance, BSDOF can take versus the people that are out there unemployed, it is huge. The difference is huge, is skewed. So, but it becomes a lot lighter if you have several companies that are willing to increase their budget take on internship, and they do it freely, not looking at, not a management training. There's a difference. You're not training people to take the future of your business, but you're giving people the opportunity, to join, maybe for a stipend, just to understand how the manufacturing environment is and what it is. Okay, so that's on the one hand, looking at the employer. Then for the people themselves, it's about being brave, being courageous. I've seen cases where people walk up to you or walk up to the HR manager, walk up to some management staff of some of these big establishments and tell the person, look, this is what I have studied. This is what I have done. I am not asking for a job, but I am just asking for an opportunity to work here and learn. Right? That threshold, that courage needs to happen with most of the youths that are currently unemployed. They need to invest time. They need to see that the need to invest time and money for their development. And you can't develop yourself alone. There is that much you can do with online training, like you have said. Okay, so you need to approach these companies not with the wish or to get employed, because of course, like I have said, if there are very strict budget controls on internship headcounts, then how much more for full-time staff? So this kind of decision to approach not for a job but for internship, and clearly saying, look, money is not priority. I'm investing time, I'll pay for my transport. Maybe you can handle the feeding, that will be fine. I'm sure a lot of HRO people would open up and warm up to this because many of these companies also want a way to give back. So in summary, I would say let such applications come, but let them come with the mindset of I'm going to learn, and whatever I learn with, I take away. And I mean, when you learn and you go away from whatever company you learned from, nobody can take what you have learned. It becomes a part of you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, because we want to make this session interactive,
Thank you.
I think we would love for some of our participants to ask any kind of questions that they wish, anything that is born in their mind and they feel that they need to throw it open there, so that we have it as a discussion just for a few minutes before we end the session, now that FOSA is still on ground. So our participants, if you have any question, please, you can signify via the chat box or just raising up your hand so that we can take up the questions for discussion. Do we have people out there that we have questions? Hello, participants. Who has any question? If you don't want to mute your mic to share it, you can actually type it in the chat section. So while we are waiting for people to come up with their questions, this is just to share the current plan we have with some of our international partners. I'll share it in just few minutes. Just 1 sec.
Someone has a comment, Bamidele.
Okay.
Olumide.
Okay. Olumide, he says, I think NSC should use their influence in forging good working relationships with the manufacturing companies within our zone and inquire about their readiness in taking some engineers that want to learn operations and not be paid. Yes. Do you want to make a comment on that?
Yeah, it's similar to what I said before. I think it's something that we urgently need to do. We need to engage them officially. And I mean, when COVID hit, we all know how many of these companies donated. I mean, my company, for instance, we donated sanitizers. We manufactured sanitizers and donated sanitizers. Currently, the Lagos Food Bank, we are also donating millions of naira just to support the Lagos Food Bank venture. So, I mean, many of these companies are willing to make this kind of donation. How much more to allow people to learn? But this has to be prioritized. If we have bodies like the Nigerian Society of Engineers, like I said before, the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, if they prioritize this for the companies and tell them, look, these are the things we look out for to be able to help you in other ways, then I'm sure a number of companies would throw their weight behind this. And this will really go a long way. Because at the end of the day, it's not just employment. Sometimes what you learn, you necessarily might not use it as for employment. Sometimes it could just be to provide service. I have had people that have been exposed to automation, and ironically, they over the years have learned one or two things. And we have a lot of small, medium scale enterprises, small, medium scale businesses that are not financially, they don't have enough financial muscle to bring in expatriates. So most times you have situations where equipment, maybe for instance, it's just probably a switch, probably a PLC card has gone bad and the equipment lies there, and the owner of the business is of course suffering because he doesn't have enough money to bring in the Chinese people that installed it. So we have such huge opportunities out there. And I feel a lot of smart young guys, if exposed to automation, for instance, can begin to develop a service from here and provide services. I have a friend that goes around with all these small firms, not the big guys, the small guys that have imported equipment from China, imported equipment from India. Those equipments are running. Unfortunately, they get broken down. He has even, in some cases, he rewrites the program completely from scratch, right? And he locally buys, sometimes buys HMIs off eBay. So there are a lot of things people can do if they are empowered. That necessarily does not mean getting employed into a 9 to 5, 8 to 5 kind of job. But first, they need the skill. That skill is big, it's what is needed. And today, especially from automation perspective, official training to learn automation is actually very expensive. The items are expensive, the labs are expensive. Whatever it is you think about comes at a cost. But this cost can actually be significantly reduced if companies come in to assist with this internship program. Internship like we have it today is not adding value. We really need to rejig it. And we can only do this with the help of these big institutions.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I would just like to add some things to what you have said with respect to the question Olumide Sholadoye has actually made. Now, right now, we have a new chairman that is going to be inaugurated in just a week's time for NSE Ikeja branch. And this committee, Nigerian Job Portal, was actually instituted basically to have a working relationship with manufacturing companies. Now, and what we have actually started is we also need to identify the skill level of our members. Now, skill level of our members in the sense that by the time you look at the CVs and also engage some of our graduates, you find out that we have a lot of them that are really not market worthy. And this is why we are having sessions like this, and also other sessions which I actually shared the jingle earlier that Get Jobs is partnering with some organizations abroad to try and alert people on the need to have self-development. And self-development starts by you paying attention to your strengths, your weakness, your opportunities, and also your threats. So by the time you've had an assessment of your personal self, then you'll be able to know which area do I need to develop. which area do I need to focus on? So these are some of the things that the Nigerian Job Portal Committee is actually engaged in. And we've actually shared a Google form to actually get the details of all the engineers and also what they are currently doing. And this actually answers the question of Adenle Waliu, because I see that Adenle Waliu is asking, what is NSE doing to assist young graduate engineers during service period to learn on the job instead of being posted to schools? Now, programs are being churned out every day by the Nigerian Society of Engineers. All you just need to do is just go to the website and also join the WhatsApp platform. You'll be able to see a lot of these programs that are being churned out, because what you do not search, what you don't take time to find out, you will not get. Just like the Bible says, it says, ask, it shall be given, seek, it shall be found, knock, it shall be opened. So if you don't search and you don't find out about this information, you might not be able to get it. And that is why these kind of platforms are very, very important. Now, we have another question from Mustafa Abdul Hakim. I'm an HND graduate of mechanical engineering, and I wish to continue developing and evolving in the field of mechanical engineering. Is it advisable to pursue a degree in mechanical engineering or go for professional training? Thank you, sir, in anticipation. Over to you.
Yeah, very interesting question. Many of us find ourselves asking ourselves the same question when, trying to define a path for yourself. You're wondering how to go about it, where to take it to. So I think the very first thing for this question is you need to be very clear on what you intend to do, what you want to do, and how you see yourself. Right from when I finished school, I'd always imagined that I would be in the manufacturing setup. It has always intrigued me from time. So for your question, I think it's very important for you to be very clear what you want to do. Why do you want to pursue a mechanical engineering degree? You say you want to evolve yourself in the field. Why are you evolving yourself? To what end? Are you evolving yourself? And there are several options. Are you evolving yourself so that you're able to impact the knowledge you have, on others? That is in the way of teaching, okay, or lecturing. Is that why you are evolving? If that's why you want to evolve and develop yourself? Or are you doing this to provide solutions, unique solutions to problems, everyday problems, or manufacturing problems? So that clarity needs to precede this question, because it's only when you are clear about why you want to develop yourself that you can then decide, for you, which path you want to go. Finally, I also want to just mention that whatever drives you, it's always very, very important to look at the environment and take a cue, okay? What will be of value in Nigeria will not necessarily be of value in Europe, or will not necessarily be of value in the US. So you need to look at where you are first. Like I said, be clear of why you want to develop yourself. And then you need to look at where you are and what will be of value in the environment you are, based on what you want to be. This will really guide you in discussing. Yeah, you said you are currently a technician in a flour milling company, which is good. Of course, a lot of experience would come with that kind of role. But then, more importantly, you need to be clear where you want to be. You need to also be clear what kind of environment you want to play in, because this is what will, at the end of the day, decide where to go. You're on mute.
Yes, thank you, Fosa. Now,
Yes.
there's something I would just love to chip in. I see that some people are asking me about how do I join Nigerian Society of Engineers. Now, if you want to join Nigerian Society of Engineers, especially for our branch, that is at Ikeja branch, all you just need to do is just go to Google, just type in Ikeja NSC, and you'll be able to get all the necessary information that you need. Also, for those that have joined and also have not filled up the form, the membership form, please kindly get in touch with me personally. I'm going to share my email address for people to get in touch with me personally. And the whole idea of collating this information is to ensure that we capture those that are unemployed. For those that are unemployed, like I said, out of the survey that we have done, we have 42% unemployed engineers that we have currently. We've just captured this data just for a week. And we still have so many members that we have not captured yet. So if we've captured for a week and we have 42% that are unemployed, then it's a massive area. So I've shared my email address on the chat box for people to get in touch. And if you would love to get in touch with me via WhatsApp, I have actually shared my mobile number also for people to get in touch with me via WhatsApp. Now, we have a lot of programs that we are actually planning. And like I said earlier, the current chairman that is going to be inaugurated in about a week's time has mandated our committee, which is the Job Portal Committee, to actually ensure that we slash this unemployment by 20%. That's our target, that by Q1 of 2021, we ought to have slashed the current unemployment by 20%. It's a Herculean task, but by networking, I believe that we are going to crash this. So for people that are just graduating, like Efosa said, Efosa started from the scratch. And the person that is currently working as a technician in flour mills, I've actually worked in flour mills before, and I know what it means to work in flour mills. Now, all you just need to do, like Efosa said, is Efosa, I see that people nowadays they want degree, they want to be professor, doctor, and this doesn't really count in the employment world. I think we're going towards the skill, more of the value and more of the skills.
Yes.
What you can do. People are getting they are getting paid for
what they can do.
What they can do.
True.
And I see that lacuna. So what do you think? You know, I said initially that an average engineer needs to do a SWOT analysis of himself or herself. So apart from doing a SWOT analysis, what else do you think an average engineer should do to make himself relevant in the society?
So, like you have said, I think getting one big help is you'll find out that you need to. They say birds of a feather flock together. So, like Bamidele has said, I know when people are trying to break off very bad habits, they have what they call help groups. You go to such groups to get encouragement. So this search, this quest to develop yourself, most times is not as effective as when you do it in a group. So for instance, this facility Bamidele is talking about now, about NSC as a group, about Get Jobs, these are areas where people can become very much active. You can join this institution. I am a financial member, for instance, of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, and I can say I have a lot that I have benefited from being a member. So these are things, these are areas, these are places that you can go, join in the activities, and learn from what is happening and what they have there. Many of the publications, they also do X-ray of what is trending, what is happening in the manufacturing society, in the manufacturing world, in the the business world in general. You read and you understand where and what is. Like I said before, one very important basis for development is understanding the environment and understanding the playing field. And now you can't do this completely on your own. You need to work with people. This is why, for instance, Bamidele has invited me to guest speak, so that in discussing, we can share, we can learn, from whatever experiences I have gone through. Yeah, so that you can pick this and also model it into something useful for you. So one big thing, Bamidele, to your question is we need to be more interactive. We need to interact with each other, interact with fellow engineers, look for groups. For instance, Nigerian Society of Engineers is a wonderful group that we can join, Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. I know these groups also have their shortcomings, right? Not that it is you enter and everything is pap, pap, pap. But like Bamidele has said, from time to time we have changes in management, and this brings new opportunity. The new chairman that is to be sworn in now has given a mandate to crash unemployment numbers that Bamidele has discussed. So joining those kind of activities also gives you a lot of stuff around you. Then finally, I would like to add, the internet is a wonderful place. Guys, in Nigeria, I think we are not using the internet like we should. A lot of us end up in social media. Even the social media itself can become a learning tool. I've had several times when I've had to go on YouTube, I've had to go on LinkedIn to learn about something, and something that is actually very germane to my work. And then I learn about it and make use of it. And when I make use of it, you think probably I've gone for a special training around it. So it's really very important to make use of the internet as a learning tool. There are lots of facilities there. We have some not too expensive courses that you can also do to beef up whatever certificates you have, as you strive to also have skill relevance in today's job world.
Okay, I have a question here.
Yes.
I was private chatted. What if you're in a situation where a degree holder working as a technician, despite acquiring the necessary skills and the opportunity is not coming forth? And also, what is the NSC doing towards underemployment?
Very good question. So I was in that situation, like Bamidele said, several years ago. And it's a very interesting question because I would like to compare it with what happens when in school you fail a test, or as a farmer you have sown and then somehow you did not reap the kind of harvest you want to reap. Yes. Hello?
No, I can hear you.
Okay. So why is this question very important? One very key thing I'd like to say here is that when you find yourself in a situation where you are currently employed and you have a certificate that is, of course, qualifies you for a role that is higher, two things happen. First, like I said before, unemployment rate is on the high rise. The job market is super competitive. It's very competitive. So it's either you are getting a job now because you have all the skills, or probably your dad is the owner of the company. These are the two big baskets that we have today. What does this mean? For many of us, we find ourselves in the other basket where we need to know our onions and get the job. So if you find yourself in a situation where you are currently looking out for jobs, you are currently working in a lower capacity, and then you are not getting the job is not coming forth. Check also what you will do if you have prepared very seriously for a test or for an exam, and then you flunk the exam, you fail the exam. You don't blame the lecturer, you don't blame your colleagues. You simply go back to the drawing board and then re-strategize. It is difficult to talk about it this way, but this is the truth. The fact that jobs have not come simply means there is something missing, and probably your understanding of the job market still needs to evolve. Okay, I had the same scenario. I was almost close to frustration. I did it for about 4 years, and I understand your sentiments. It can actually be very frustrating, But then I looked on the brighter side, which is something I would advise you do. Don't just get into the department or whatever it is you do. Make use of the time that you are currently now working to investigate and spend time in areas that appeal to what you have read in school. So for instance, I'll give an example. As an operator, I spent time with the electrical and instrumentation department, even though I was not in that department. I would go around with them, understand what they do. I tell you, the first day they opened a panel, an electrical panel, and I saw the components inside, relays, the different colors, safety relays, contactors. I was blown aback. It was far from whatever I had read in school. It was so different, but fundamentally it's the same thing, but it was so different. So over time, I spent time there and I had the opportunity to also learn. And finally, also funny enough, became a part of the department. So I moved. I moved from direct operations to electrical instrumentation as a technician. And then that also gave me a lot of time. That was where my passion with PLCs started from, and with automation in general as a topic. So two things, check, make best use of the opportunity you have now, move around, whatever it is you intend to do, either in line with what you have read in school, go closer to those departments, try to find out how, during your free periods, go there, maybe when you're on off. These are things, time you would invest, and I guarantee you they would pay off at the end of the day. Sometimes it's during interviews. You will not know. You'll be asked a question and then the eureka moment will come, something that is outside your normal customary work. You mention it and you talk about it so confidently, and then you land the job. So look on the bright side. It's not the end, and just keep pushing.
Okay, thank you so very much. I see that we have exhausted all our questions, and I don't know, maybe I can take one more question from any of our participants. Any of our participants can unmute their mics and feel free to make
yeah.
Yes, Engineer Kitola, welcome, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I appreciate the lecture of today. I've really gained a lot. There is no knowledge lost. No, it's really encouraging. You said something very, very vital, and which I have found to be a thing many people don't want to do today.
Yes.
Service, to serve just to gain the knowledge.
True.
Some few years ago, we had an internship program, I think through Mechanical, that we were able to place people into Dangote Sugar and some other companies. Today, I believe most of them are fully engaged. Even one of them had an opportunity of traveling out from the company where he did the internship, because it became a factor that everybody wanted to associate with. My biggest problem, there was one I did for in Ibadan. I was just asking the sister yesterday. Sister said, it was a government service. They said, he's not an engineer, but I think another field. And I think I'm planning or something like that. Wanted some.
Hello, engineer.
Hello, Engineer Kitola. Okay,
so the chairman of them. Hello.
Yes, we
can hear you now.
Okay, so he was to work with them.
We lost him.
And they said their service, they may tend to tell you they won't pay you, but when it is feed. When it is fieldwork, when you go out, something won't leave you. Even the man who said they can't pay you today, by the time you start working and learning, this guy had no experience. Fortunately now, I've been one of the few that will have been penciled down. The sister just told me, unfortunately, I was on transit and a little bit annoyed. I just put off the phone. I said another day. What am I saying? Please, anybody who has such opportunity that you are even given an internship, please grab it with all your heart. What have you been doing at home? Doing nothing. Somebody said, come and learn. Free. Like you said, I'm also looking for such opportunity. Anyway, I can learn to add value to me. I'm ready. And that is what life is. Adding value every day.
True.
From your CV, I think I give kudos to you. You never despise the day of little beginning. And that's what the Bible enjoys us. When you don't despise little beginning, the days ahead of you is great. And I don't think you have gotten to the peak. Nearly all the companies you've mentioned, I know one or two people. In Cadbury, is it Rekit and Bekisa, and all the rest. So please let us, for those who are on the line today, please, if you have such opportunity, and I want to encourage you, sir, if you have such opportunity, you can help us create such opportunity.
Yes.
And please, we really appreciate to have it. Somebody asked me the question when we said 20% by quarter, Engineer Idris.
Yes.
We said 20% by quarter 2021.
Yes.
Q1. Q1.
Yes.
I said yes. I gave that affirmative word, yes. And I know we will get there.
Yes.
It now depends on our people. Let them be ready. It may not come so quick, but it will come and it will take you to where you want to go. I believe we are in the right path, and I appreciate Engineer Idris also for giving his time. It is really worth it. And the next lecturer today, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Adele is asking another question. How can you assist towards automation work in such a way of easy swapping from maintenance job that doesn't give time? Okay, now, Efosa, let me just give you, Adele Waliu has been very, very diligent with almost all our sessions. Now, currently, he's working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
Now, he's really overwhelmed. So he's trying to see how he can break away from this his kind of job, 24 hours, 7 days a week without rest. So he doesn't have time. So I don't know what I think we should do. Adele Waliu, I don't know, Efosa, can you put up your contact email address so that Adele can get in touch with you?
Okay.
Yes, Adele, I think we'll have to treat you specially because I know that it's not easy. 24 hours, 7 days, it's crazy. So we are going to treat your case specially. We will treat it offline. So, okay.
True.
So, Adele, that's Efosa's email. So, get in touch with him. You have my own number to get in touch with me. We'll treat your case specially. So, for those participants, this is 7:22. If we have any other comments and any other question, I think this is the best time to ask because we don't want to take so much of everybody's time. Yes.
True.
So, any other question from any of our participants before we call it today? Okay. Adele Waliu, I hope you've seen the email address because once we end the session, you might not be able to have access. Adele Waliu.
Yeah, he has replied.
Oh, okay. He has replied. Okay, no problem.
Yes, he has replied.
So, in the absence of no question, we want to thank you so much, Efosa, for your time. I know it's it's been crazy getting in touch with you.
Yes, I know.
We've been dragging this thing.
And I really appreciate it. You're doing a wonderful job, Abidele.
Thank you. Yeah. I've been chasing you for months now, but thank God you were able to come around. And so it's a pleasure having you here. And I appreciate your knowledge and time. And thank you all our participants from far and wide. Thank you, Mushi. I can see you, Mushi. Thank you, Engineer Kitola. Engineer Kitola is a fellow and is an ex-official of the national body, Nigerian Society of Engineers. And he's also an advisor in the committee for Nigerian Society of Engineers job portal. So thank you so very much for your wisdom. So we'll call it a day now. So Fosa, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.